Jumped on the call to kind of hear about the team, and it sounds exciting, so I'll be listening in.
And Sasha, this is your first meeting too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that my wife's on the call, so I introduced myself just now.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to conflict.
Sasha is calling from South Africa.
No,
Yep.
we have the info. It's just
All the way in
I
Cape
have to
Town.
edit it and
So I'm reading this awesome book about, it's called 1421, which was the year that they believe that the Chinese discovered the New World. And I'm at the point in time where they're describing how they may have gotten on the other side of Africa, the west side. Pretty fascinating. Because the Chinese they couldn't figure out how to do, I guess they didn't figure out how to do longitude until Henry the Navigator from Portugal. And that was like 60 years later. And so they figured out where they were based on latitude and the polar star. But the farther you get south, the lower the star is on the horizon. So it was really, really difficult for them to calculate it. And they have maps where they obviously got around the cape, the bottom, the horn, and then when they got to the bulge, because they couldn't figure out, they had no way of doing longitude because they couldn't figure out how fast they were moving. The map didn't really show the bulge. It just showed a little bump. Because they couldn't figure out how quickly they were going, east-west. They could only figure out how fast they were going north-south. Pretty fascinating. I like maps, so I'm reading this awesome book on maps. All right, Steve, are you on yet?
I just watched his presentation.
Just end that meeting. So I guess I can go ahead and get started. I'm sure he'll be on shortly. We do, Marky Jackson, who was originally signed up to be our community manager, has been going through some serious personal stuff. Not only did he move and he got a new job, but he and his wife are both having some issues that they have to get resolved, health issues, which is stressing both of them out, bless their hearts. He will be back. I know, he will be back, but Steve is here. And he's got some announcements. And Steve, I did speak with Marky, and he is more than happy to do coaching with our co-community managers, so they can start having meetings with him, and he'll watch and let us know what they need to do, so he doesn't have to be completely out of the loop.
Okay, so just some announcements here. So last week I talked to Marky and about him stepping down as community manager. In a couple hours, I had a meeting with Priyajat, and she was interested in doing some product management and that level. And also the next day I talked to Neetu, and it seems like a perfect fit for those two to be community leaders slash product managers slash wear many hats in the organization type of scenario. So those two are going to work together to help us, guide us through, like just product management, dealing with project management as well, getting things done on that front. And So that's kind of what's going to happen there. I'm going to help out with Tracy and I will help out on the community side, building the community as well. And we'll bring Marky in for doing some coaching along that lines. And then also last week, just to give you a quick update here, Josh put together an update to Azure. So we have a database over there. I have to get some data loaded in it so we can get some test data in place. And then I talked to Jashite, and she's going to start working on a microservice for one of our reports. So for one of our issues, we're actually going to start with a Python Flask module for one of our reporting pieces. And then Sasha jumped in with some pieces around building our container on the ARM chip processor. So running into a few little issues on that, but we'll get them sorted out. We do have the results back from the survey on our next meeting for architecture, which is, I believe, Wednesday. Tracy,
one was every other Monday and one was every other Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll have to look. So next Monday, the 28th, is our first outreach SIG. So if you're interested in working on blogs, working on the website, working on anything that is out-facing, that will be Mondays at 8 o'clock starting this coming Monday, and then every 2 weeks.
That's 8 o'clock Mountain Time.
I'm sorry, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, yes.
and then on the 1st is the architecture meeting, 8 a.m. Mountain Time as well.
So starting next week, Monday and Thursday will be our first week of our SIG meetings. Mondays is outreach, Thursdays is the architecture and the marketplace. So let me clarify what the marketplace is. The marketplace is redefining the way we manage domains for cataloging the microservices. So don't get that confused with marketing. When I actually wrote that, I was like, oh, somebody might get confused with what's the marketplace. So that's what we're referring to when we talk about the marketplace.
Tracy, did you start recording this by chance?
I did.
All right, perfect. Because there's some people asking on the Discord channel for the meeting once it's, because they couldn't attend because of the conflicts. So just to give you an idea about the two, like on the architecture catalog meeting, that's mainly focused on how we deal with microservices and catalog them and track them. We're going to, I've been part of the Tecton Hub and Catalog Working Group, listening on what they have going on, and have some ideas that we'll be able to borrow from that open source project. We may even be able to borrow some code from that side as well to build out our web UI for the catalog. So that's going to be mainly focused on how we manage and track the dependencies around microservices and containers and those implementations, and taking the big picture look of how do we manage microservices that are not ours anymore. So to give an example, here in New Mexico, we have Sandia National Labs, which is a Department of Energy. They do weather research, those type of things. They do a bunch of stuff around solar panels. And one of the projects that they have is an open source project that they're actually developing microservices that will run against their data that they've collected. So they have public data, and they're working on creating a microservice to run against that data. Now, one of the things is they don't want to host an API and maintain it. So what they're looking for is a catalog that they can publish that microservice to that other people can consume. So that's kind of the concept that we're looking for around the architecture and cataloging area. So if you're interested in that one, we will start breaking out into like a working group for development as well. Right now I've just been meeting with people one-on-one to get everybody started, but we'll get a more of a standing meeting, a working group meeting for development down the pipeline. Some of the things that I owe our new community, our product managers, is a roadmap. When I was talking to Nitu on Friday, one of the things that we're going to put together is just a high level, this is what I know off the top of my head we need to do for infrastructure. This is off the top, what we need to do for outreach. We need to do, X to the website. Those type of things, we're going to put together just a high level roadmap, and that'll give us the ability to drill down and break those high level components or high level items into issues over on the GitHub side. So we are also, Priyajata is working on getting the groups sorted out in the GitHub side. So we actually have the security sorted out. Right now, the security on the GitHub repos is a little messed up. We're in the process of cleaning that up as we speak. So bear with us. If you need access to something or if you can't find anything, just hit me up on Discord and we'll get it sorted out for you. So that's kind of a quick update that I had. And like I said, since this is so new at the early stage of the open source project, there's a lot of things that are kind of backing other things up, and that's where the roadmap's going to help us out on that front. Anything else, Tracy, I'm missing? I'm trying to remember.
No, I just know that there's some folks that have done some work, and I think they should just make sure everybody knows who they are. Josh, if you could just say hello, and I know you've been doing some work and what your experience has been, and let everybody know what you're up to.
Sure thing. So, hello, hola, greetings. Josh Garbrick. I'm in sunny Buffalo, New York. I was able to set up the Postgres database for Steve a little bit ago, so that was good. I've got the next couple of days off, which is nice. I'm actually going to try and attend some sessions at Microsoft Ignite online, so that should be interesting. And other than that, I'm just a big nerd. That's all you need to know. So really excited about the project and also looking forward to getting into more of the architecture nuts and bolts.
Great.
Yes, thank you for taking care of that.
And Christopher, you're on mute as well, but I know that you're out there and you've been doing some work. Do you want to give us a, hey, there he is.
Hello, hello. So, yeah, there's a couple things I'm happy to update about. I saw an easy to pick up issue on cleaning up the markdown and the docs, and so I knocked that out a couple of weeks ago, and thanks to Steve for helping get that whole pull request through the process. And the other thing that I'm working on that I don't have any code online for yet, but hopefully within the next week we'll actually see some code on GitHub. I'm working on getting a way to be able to sync from AWS ECS, which if you haven't heard of that, it's their Docker orchestration environment, and so I'd like to be able to pull information from that and display it through Ortelius, and I've looked at the API and that looks pretty straightforward. I just need to sit down and give it a whirl. So that's where I'm going, and thank you guys for getting the meeting scheduled for next week. We're probably going to be traveling this weekend, so I'm probably going to miss the one on Monday, but I should be at the one on Thursday. So thanks for getting that going.
Absolutely. And Christopher, on that AWS work you're doing, do you need any help with that? Or is that something you just want to put your head into first?
Yeah, I really just need to put my head into it. I've been busy dealing with a couple of personal things now, so the last couple of days those are finally settled down. So the rest of this week is like, yeah, I can actually spend some time doing some fun coding stuff. And so, you guys have been super helpful, and I'll definitely reach out in Discord if I run into any issues, but I just need to see how far I can get at this point. Super.
And then Neetu, why don't you introduce yourself? We talked about you earlier. We said all kinds of things about you.
Our new fearless leader.
Yes, and I don't know if Parjat, if the two of you have spoken yet, and I don't know if Steve mentioned that you guys would be working together. Did you mention that to them?
Yes, I mentioned it to Neetu. Parjat didn't know yet. I was waiting for today.
And then Neetu, Marky Jackson, we spoke with him, and he is going to help you guys in terms of what you should be looking for for doing community management. So what I think I'm going to try to do is get the two of you and him all together, and we'll do a meeting just to touch base, because he's been doing that. He actually did a lot of this for Kubernetes. So he knows what to look for and what kinds of things. Like, for example, what he would do, what he told me would be, he got really good at looking at some of the pull requests or some of the issues and reaching out to certain people, because he started learning their skills and saying, hey, this is something you probably should consider looking at. And just how he did all of that, I think will be helpful for both of you.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I haven't yet connected with Parijat, so I'll work with her on what is the current status and just help her out. And also look into community guidelines, as Steve had mentioned, with Divya. So I don't know if Divya is on call, so I'll reach out to her. And yeah, these were the two things on my mind. And I think Steve mentioned that he's creating a proposal for CDF. When it's ready, I guess I can look into that, review it, or whatever help he needs in that section.
And Divya is on the call, so she's out there. She's just.
Hi. Divya.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, so actually I'm on another, my work's still going on, so I can't actually switch on the video because I'm on another video call as well, and that's a mute right now. So yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll connect with you later.
Great.
Absolutely.
Oh, and thanks for bringing up, I did put out there a new repo. You'll see it under Ortelius /CDF-TOC. It is where the CDF proposal is. There's a markdown in the subdirectories down there underneath proposals for Ortelius. It's really rough. I took the screwdriver one that was accepted by the CDF. I'm using that as a template to put in the Ortelius pieces. So it's half baked right now, but that's where it's going to be, and it's a markdown file that we'll just need to have people look at before we submit to the CDF.
Okay. Yeah, and then I was wondering if you have like a 30, 60, 90 days kind of a roadmap, that what are the things that we are working on or looking to get.
I owe you that. So.
Okay, so then we can start delegating, etc. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and I feel like the architecture meeting, one of the first, I think that's probably something the architecture group needs to really focus on, is what that roadmap's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'll get that to you. I have an idea. It'll be a little bit of everything to start with, and then we'll have to build it out from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, I can help with that.
I just want to get it out of my head onto paper, and then we can go from there and have people add and change it up and make it more logical than the way I think.
And then did Aisha, did you do some work over the last week?
don't know.
I thought that he...
Well, so one of the things that make sure that there's two things. Sign up for the Google Groups. I think we caught most everybody that was originally being emailed out. But if you haven't been added to the Google Groups, it's Google group, groups is called Ortelius-Dev is the group name. So if you could join that, and that's what we base all the security off of for all the Google Docs and calendar invites and things like that. So make sure you're on that. We won't be posting too many things right now in the Google Groups. We're using mostly for security around the docs. And then please add yourself to which area that you're interested in, or multiple areas, in the README for the Ortelius project in GitHub. That helps us figure out who we need to invite for security at the GitHub level.
So I've got a question actually. So
yep.
Has anybody updated the meeting notes for today? It looks like it's still the previous meeting notes.
Yeah, I was just going to start that.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right doc since there are multiple docs.
Yeah, that's the right one. It's been a busy morning with DevOps World. I still have 15 or 16 questions to answer from my talk. So a little backed up at that point. I had almost 1,800 people registered for my talk, and I think 500 said they're very interested, and I think there was like 100 and almost 200 on the talk that I did, and that was around the CI process and Kubernetes, how it's changing.
So if you could go ahead and go in and add yourself if you attended today, Christopher, I just did that on your behalf. If you could go ahead and update the doc, yeah. And I will.
We'll fill in the meeting notes post meeting here and get it cleaned up for today. Normally I get a template of what we need to talk about to get it in there, and so we have a good starting point for the weekly meeting or bi-weekly meeting. It just fell behind on that one. Any other questions, comments?
Okay, good job. This is a good stand-up. 30 minutes is about the right time. I thank you all for showing up, and I know there was a few out there that didn't. It was a new person. I think.
Oh, on that note, new people, make sure you join the Discord channel, and also if you need any help with GitHub, doing pull requests, setting up a repository, any of the basic how do I get started stuff, just reach out to Tracy or myself, and we'll get you taken care of. One of the things Marky was going to do before he had to take his leave, he was going to put together like a little GitHub scenario, how to deal with it. We'll see if we can bring that back out, if we can revive that somehow and get that recorded. But right now, if you need any help with those getting started, reach out to me and we can take care of you. It's no problem at all. We're here to help you guys.
And Roy is out there. Roy is a guest. Roy, you want to introduce yourself?
I hear him.
Here we go. Should be a little better. Roy Nielsen. I work for a defense contractor, and I can bring a little bit of security background and knowledge. I used to work for Los Alamos National Laboratory, a bunch of configuration management stuff. I've been using VMs and containers for quite a while for test and DevOps, orchestration and automation, make things faster and easier to test, and so hopefully maybe I could bring some of that stuff.
Roy's also worked on some open source projects.
Yes.
he's
Well,
a veteran in that area.
yes. Part of that whole security background is a couple of open source projects that I've worked on.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to attend. I know you've been busy, and so I'm happy to see that you got to attend today, and thank you for introducing yourself.
Yep.
Oh, if anybody's having problems editing the Google Doc, let me know. And like I said, we're at this weird phase where we need to get some basic infrastructure things sorted out. So just ping me, email, or however, and I'll work with you and get it sorted out. So if you run into anything, let me know and we'll get it fixed for you.
Cool.
And we didn't talk about some of the stuff that was on the agenda from last week, like integrating with Argo and Spinnaker, but I think that we're going to leave that to now that we have the SIG around the architecture, I think we should leave that particular topic up to that group. It's just going to depend on who can step up and take on some of those efforts. I'm going to reach out to Marky since he works for OptumX and see if they have somebody from there that can help us with Spinnaker and possibly get them to be on those calls, which would be great. I'm not sure about Argo. I do have a meetup coming up with somebody who's going to show us Argo, so maybe we can recruit that person. Working on it though. Is there anything else that we're forgetting? Christopher, you're always really good at that. Is there anything else that we're forgetting?
Not coming up with anything, so you're doing great.
Good. All right.
All right, last minute. We got 1 minute. Anybody? Anything? All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Good luck with your talk, Steve. It's going to be great.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, your talk was great, Steve. I listened to it.
Oh, thanks. I got to get back and answer questions now. They're all stacked up. More crazy
Steve,
typing.
I'll talk to you on Monday, Steve. I put something on your calendar for the GitHub, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janet, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.